Okay, welcome back to Hardware Unboxed. Another one of these vlog style new studio build type videos. And of course we are in the new studio. This is the desk area. We're gonna go over the desk, show you guys how I've set it up. Still very much a work in progress, but I've been in here for about a week now. Extremely happy with how things are going. Much better than my previous setup. And so far there is absolutely nothing I would change. So that's good. I've installed some rugs. I threw some rugs on the floor. I guess you could say I installed the panels here because I had to cut them and do a thing with them. So they're on the wall there. We might have a look at them later. But I suppose the thing that you guys want me to go over the most is the desk. So we'll focus on that. We also have some bits and bobs. Corsair sent over some gear, which was really nice. And I'll show you that. Got a care package from Gamers Nexus quite a while ago with some really cool stuff. They're mod mats and that. So we'll have a look at those. MSI sent me a brand new monitor, so we'll check that out as well. So let's go get into it. As many of you who watch the channel a lot will know, I have been holding out, waiting a very long time for a 32-inch 4K 144Hz, or at least 120Hz or greater display so I can edit videos and game on the same computer. Not so much of an issue in here because I can fit multiple computers. I can now have a dedicated gaming computer and a dedicated work computer, but I do like the 32-inch size. I've been using that for years now. I do game on a 27-inch 4K 144Hz at the moment. Find it a bit too small. I've gotten used to it, but when I jump back to the work PC, I much prefer the 32-inch size. So we have the new MSI, and I'm going to say the name once because I'm going to read it from the box. It is the Optix MPG321UR-QD. So nice, simple, easy to remember name there. I'm sure Tim's got it dialed in now, but I'm never going to say it again. That's the one time MSI say your ridiculously long name. But also thank you for the monitor. So this was provided by MSI, full disclosure. I didn't actually ask for it. They knew I wanted one. They sent one to Tim and they said, hey, we're going to send one to Steve as well. I'm sure he'll enjoy it. So I was a bit nervous waiting to see what Tim's review was like because the last few 4K 144Hz 32-inch panels haven't been amazing. But yeah, Tim reckons this one's pretty good. Not super competitive on pricing, but quality-wise it's good and it's going to do what I want. So that's great to see, and yeah, thanks for MSI for sending that over. So I'm going to set this up now, and then we're just going to get straight into it all. Okay, so we will start with the desk, and I'll explain a bit more about why this layout, this particular design that just popped in my head. A few of you have been asking me for the plans to build this. I guess I could draw some up. Maybe that's something I will do in the not too distant future when I get a bit of time. But this was all stuff I just put in the old noggin. So I've been planning in my head for about 6 months. It took us about a year to get this whole place built by professional builders. It was a slow process because of COVID and all that. So every night I sort of went to bed, had to think about how I would design things and troubleshooted it. Did a bit of troubleshooting that way. So anyway, here we are. Why did I come up with this design? So as you guys would have seen in part one, my previous setup was a long straight desk. It was about 6 meters of desk, just right along the wall, and which was great. You know, I had plenty of space there, but it wasn't as usable as the space I have here now, and it wasn't as, I don't know, ergonomic. I'm not sure if that's I guess that's the right term. So basically I'd have one monitor, much like what you see here, and then I had a monitor on the right and on the left side. So 3 monitors, but 3 different systems. So test system 1, test system 2, editing PC. And I had 3 sets of keyboard and mice. And the reason for that is it's just a lot easier. KVMs and stuff don't work very well for what we're doing. A lot of people have suggested them in the past, but no, it's a nightmare. It doesn't work. So you're best off with 3 separate sets of keyboard and mice. Much more efficient, much easier. But getting to my point, 3 monitors along there sounds great. I thought it was a good idea at the time. But rather than sort of do this, run a few benchmark passes, and when I run the benchmark passes, the data is automatically saved to a network drive on my PC. So I don't have to do any of that sort of stuff, but I'll make the benchmark passes, get the data, and then I'll come back over here, extract the data, input it into Excel and do that. But as I said, rather than go here, run the benchmark pass, go back here, and I had carpet upstairs as well, so the chair didn't move as nice as it does on the epoxy. I was finding myself doing this, you know, leaning over, then leaning that way to do maybe a CPU test, lean that way to do a GPU test, and after like a 16-hour day, which is a pretty typical day for us, 16, sometimes even 18-hour days, depending on the deadlines we're under, my back was just ruined, as you can imagine, just really tight on both sides. I recently injured my back, which was another reason why I had to do something about this. So I've come up with this setup. So I've explained the left and right leaning. Here, it's a bit different. So I've got obviously my main PC here where all the data gets fed, and I can just turn like this, very comfortable, stay upright and all that, make the benchmark passes and just rotate back this way. So I can take advantage of the nice, smooth, swiveling, rotating ability of your desk chair, the standard office chair. And you know, I can come over this way, do some benchmark runs here, and basically the chair isn't really, I'm not having to move the chair too much and do a lot of this. It's really, I can comfortably reach there and, you know, maintain quite good posture, come back here, deal with the results, and then if I've got to run another office related type CPU benchmark, which can take quite a bit of time, I can get the score or whatever it is that we're getting off the screen here, come back here, chuck it in my Excel file. So it's a great setup for me. It's perfect. And again, a lot of people were worried about the dimensions here not being wide enough, all that sort of stuff. I spent many hours measuring and making sure that the dimensions I had here were optimal for all the kind of things I'm doing. For just swiveling around and going from one system to the other, having this spot a bit narrower would be ideal, but then actually getting out of the chair. So say I don't want to swivel all the way around, I can still comfortably from here get up and walk around the chair, no problem at all. And then I can grab the chair to get back into it, I can turn it to there, I can sit down and come back around without hitting anything. So it's a balance of, you know, being able to get around the chair and all that sort of stuff. This is probably really boring. I don't know why I'm talking so much about the space here and getting in and out of my chair, but sorry about that. But it was something that a lot of people asked. So I'm trying to explain and address as many questions from part one as I can. So that's why I'm waffling way too much about spinning on my desk chair. So we'll probably move on from that to something else about the desk. Something else I thought I'd quickly address, because this is one I saw a lot in the comments. This building, which I suppose is a garage in a sense, but really, yeah, I don't know what you classify it as. We did it as a garage next to the house, but my house didn't come with an 8 to 12 car garage. My house isn't that high end and luxurious. This is not much smaller than my actual house, this area. So we have a fairly modest size house. We just had a carport next to it. We were always going to build, you know, just a standard double car garage. But then with me occupying 2 rooms of the house, we thought it would make sense moving out here. I've got kids and stuff. This is isolated in terms of noise. I can film whenever I want. If there's adverse weather outside, basically heavy rain, you can't even hear in here because of the way we designed it. So we've got, basically, this is purpose built. We did not get an 8+ car garage with the house. So purpose built, it was built this year, finished recently. That's why I'm moving in now. And it was built with moving my operation into here in mind. So acoustic plaster for the walls, the roof, the whole lot, R5 insulation in the roof, earth wool stuff, 2.7 in the walls, and then I've got the insulated panel doors. So really good panel doors there. So yeah, they are garage doors, but they're not your typical roller doors that are just a piece of sheet metal. They are insulated, so they're very good for heating and cooling, and they're also good for keeping out noise from outside. So custom built for the Hardware Unboxed studio. It's not going to be really cold in winter. It's not going to be really hot in summer. I also have just an enormous reverse cycle unit installed. So that keeps the room temperature at 21 degrees. It's running right now. You can't even hear it. So the compressor's quite far away from the actual area. So it works really well. But anyway, custom built for this purpose, not something that we've just decided to utilize now, because that would be kind of weird. We would have already been utilizing it if we had just an absolutely enormous, gigantic open room. Actually, getting back to this test system here, this is one that you guys will kind of be familiar with, maybe not familiar with the look of it, but this is the Ryzen 9 5950X GPU test system. Again, I use this for testing Far Cry. Recently tested the Radeon RX 6600 in it. Of course, all the other GPUs get tested in this machine. But why I'm pointing this one out is because it is built inside the Corsair Obsidian 500D. It's an absolutely wonderful case, full stop, for anyone to use, but it's particularly wonderful for me because it has hinged doors, hinged glass panels. And that is great for me because I can leave the glass panel on, and when I'm doing AIB card testing, I can obviously open the door very effortlessly, very easily, take the card out, change it, do whatever I need to do, maybe put some K-type thermocouples on it, and then close the door, and then I'm doing enclosed testing, and I can get you guys some thermal data doing that. It's also great because I can take the hinge door completely off, as I've done in this current configuration, and that's great for testing games like Far Cry 6 because I can just pull things in and out quickly. So really like the Corsair Obsidian 500D. Unfortunately, I've only got 2 of them. Well, it was unfortunate, but I sort of mentioned that to Corsair and they've sent another 4 of these. So there's a couple of older test systems that I still use a lot, which I will now migrate into those systems, and the upcoming 12th gen Elder Lake system will also be built inside one of the 500D cases. So thanks to Corsair for sending those over. Really appreciate it, and yeah, looking forward to building those systems. I'll probably doing that shortly. Corsair also said, we saw the new studio build. Is there anything else that we can help you out with? And as it happens, there was peripherals. So basically for keyboards and mice, the mice haven't arrived yet from Corsair, but they've sent me their K63 wireless keyboard, which is this one here, and then the K70 RGB wired keyboard, which is this one here. Both mechanical. I've never actually used a mechanical wireless keyboard before. I played some games on this last night. I've done some typing and whatnot. Absolutely great keyboard. Love this one. So that's going to become my daily driver for that system. And then for the 2 test systems, I've got the wired, RGB one. So I've got this one plugged in now. Again, Corsair have provided half a dozen or so mice, but they're still coming. So we'll add them soon. But big thanks to Corsair for the case, the keyboards and mice. They also sent me these soft mats, the extra large mouse pads. So we've got 6 of those. There's one that I haven't installed yet. So that was great. That's nice. There's nothing better than a brand new mouse pad. It's always very nice to use one of those. So plenty of mechanical keyboards and stuff, and it's great not having different size keyboards and things all over the place, which is what I've been doing for years now. So yeah, big thanks to Corsair for that. Okay, we'll go from my end, the primary end, where I have test system 1 and 2 and my PC. We'll come down here. A few people were wondering why I made this thing as massive, as big as I made it. And well, partly because I could, I suppose, but it's not just excess for the sake of it. And it's not excess at all, really. So down here we have a few different things. So I've got my file server here where I back up all of our B-roll, A-roll, all of our videos, all of that content, as well as some other files and Excel stuff, and everything gets backed up here. Tim provided me with a heap of monitors. I've got a pair of Viotech 27-inch 4K 144Hz panels here, so I thought rather than let them go to waste, we'll put them on this system. So you can game here as well if you wanted to, if I had a friend come over or something. And yeah, really pleased with it. I've used it a bit actually. It's kind of nice sitting here and using this. It used to be crammed in the corner upstairs. I certainly didn't use it. It was only like a console, like I'd access it if I had to check on a RAID configuration or something like that. But now it can actually be used as a computer, which is kind of nice. It's a Ryzen 5 3600. It's got 32 gigs of RAM, a Radeon RX 5600 XT. So it's not an insane gaming system, but it's certainly very capable of gaming. So yeah, but it's the file server. It's down here. It's very quiet, nice and neat. And yeah, very happy with that. So that's there. So that takes up a bit of desk space, and now I can actually use it, whereas previously I couldn't. But also we have space for at least another 2 test systems. And you might think, well, I've got 2 test systems down there. Why do I need another 2? And really, again, it's about flexibility. It's about allowing me to do more stuff. So previously, for example, off the top of my head, well, let's give an example of the RAM videos, how much memory do gamers need to game. It's a series I haven't done now for a few years just because it ties up a test system spot for so long. And generally we do that as end of year content. At the end of the year, there's often new products where flat out I can't dedicate a spot, one of my 2 spots that I used to have in the old setup, to testing memory for a couple of weeks. And generally with testing memory, it is quite a long process, test quite a few different games and configurations and all that. So now I could set that up here, do that testing, come back to it while I'm doing other stuff. Also here, if I wanted to, I could set up 2 monitors and I could do something like, look at the impact dual monitors have on gaming performance. So one monitor you're gaming on, the other monitor you're watching a YouTube 4K video. So again, that you can explore CPU processing power there, you can explore memory usage, all those kinds of things. Apparently a lot of you guys do watch YouTube while you game. Certainly not something I do, but we talked about in a Q&A a while ago, and there were hundreds of you that say you do exactly that. So that could be a really interesting video. And again, I didn't even have space in the previous setup to have dual monitors for one test system, but now I can put dual monitors there, have a test system there, and I can take my time to do that testing thoroughly over weeks or months if need be. So it allows me to do some long-term stuff. Again, VRM thermal testing, that's something we do a lot of, and that will occupy a test system spot for well over a week to test just one series. So we've got the Intel Z690 stuff coming up. I'll test a heap of those motherboards. That'll tie up a spot here for many, many, many weeks. Early next year, I'll probably look at X570S boards. And again, that'll tie up a spot for many weeks as well. So having the space available, it's certainly not going to go to waste, and it's not excess. It's very much needed for us to expand what we're doing. Okay, while I'm down this end, there is something else I'll quickly address that came up a bit, even though I feel like I tried to address it in the previous video because we'd seen it when I posted a few things on Twitter, but it is about the construction of the desk. So if you missed that, definitely go back and watch it because you guys seem to enjoy that. But I used structural pine to sort of wrap the whole thing in. And then, so there's no legs, there is no legs anywhere, I use steel. Steel's nice and strong, and I attach that at 21 points to the structural pine. And a few instances, I'd only attached it to 1 or 2 of the uprights, and yeah, a few of you noted that that wasn't very strong or very good, but it's certainly very strong because, well, not many desks even this size would have 22 legs, and they wouldn't be made out of structural pine, which is very strong. But I think probably I'll stop waffling and I'll just show you something. I'm 6'1" and I weigh 95 kilos. So I'm fairly heavy, and this is the edge of the desk. So I'm standing on the edge of the desk here. And oh no, I'll clean that later. I probably should have taken my shoes off, eh? But as you can see, the desk is plenty strong. I don't think too many 6'1" idiots are gonna walk along my desk. I hope they're not. Hopefully I'm the only idiot that does. But yeah, you could comfortably put a ton of weight on this thing and it wouldn't break. It is extreme overkill, which was the idea because I don't want it breaking or sagging or whatever. But yeah, a few people were still concerned and sort of suggested that, you know, it's not that strong. Hopefully that proves that it is. It's a very strong desk. Some of you guys may have noticed from, well, since the last video, the part 1 video, we do have a shelf up here now. And there's many motherboards and bits and pieces. I'll neaten this up when I get around to it. But yeah, I thought I'd put a shelf up here because it'd be wasted space otherwise. I had contemplated putting 2 shelves, but there wasn't quite enough room to do it. And I thought I didn't want to cram things too much. So having said that, the motherboards that are up there, these are motherboards that I use for swapping in and out of test systems or diagnosing issues. Sometimes it's memory compatibility or whatever it may be. These are spare motherboards that I have that I've collected over time. Most of them are actually 2 boards deep. So there are a lot of boards up there. I might have to start sorting those out soon. But of course, you know, having especially older motherboards, having them on hand is super, super convenient because sometimes old motherboards do die or get memory problems and stuff like that. So having a backup is always good because I don't waste time or lose time when I'm trying to create content. So anyway, that's what's up here. We've got the YouTube play button for the 100,000 subscribers. That's cool. Okay, this is something I didn't really want to do, but obviously you guys want to see this and you deserve to see it. We'll go onto the desk and I'll kind of show you the cable management at this point in time. Now, do not expect perfectly neat wires. That is never going to be the goal of this. The idea is just to dump the wires down there, and if I have to change a wire, I just rip it out and dump another wire down there. So things like the power cords and a lot, I've pinned them up all nicely because they're permanent, they're not going to move. I'll probably do the same with the network cables soon because they're not going to move too much either. I've kind of got them where they are, but USB cables, computer power cables, display cables, all that kind of stuff, that is just going to be dumped on the cable management shelf. Now, if you were building this desk for yourselves, you would do it much more neatly. Everything would be routed neatly if you were that way inclined. And you could certainly do that with this setup. You'd probably, again, have the cable management shelf a bit higher up. I've got it low, so it's extremely convenient. But again, it's more about practicality and all that sort of stuff with my setup. So anyway, I'll get down there, we'll go under and we'll have a look. So let's jump down here. We'll start in the middle here actually. Okay, I've made it under the desk. The audio may go a bit echoey down here because we're close to the concrete, and anyway, we're in sort of an enclosed area. This here is my TP-Link brand new 10 gigabit switch. It's an 8-port model. Jared from Jared's Tech put me onto it. Now, It's an excellent switch. It's a good value. It was about 1,000 Australian dollars, which is really good for an 8-port 10 gigabit switch. But it does have a very, very loud active fan, which it was far too loud. I couldn't use it. I'd have to take it back. However, Jared worked out that you can buy a 40mm Noctua fan. He's done a guide on this on a website, but you could also tweet at him or whatever. But a Noctua fan takes 5 minutes to install and it makes the thing dead silent. Like, I can't even hear it this close to it, and the fan is currently active. And it works a treat. So I've had this for multiple weeks now in operation. I've got some Cat 8 cable in there, run that all around, got that from PC Case Gear. This is, again, not neat at the moment. I've just routed it all. I may neaten that up shortly. And then over here, if I scoot over a little bit, I've got a TP-Link router here for my Starlink connection. That's something I'll probably talk about more in a future video, but so far I'm very, very happy with Starlink. It's been very good. And then next to it, I've got my NBN router, and my NBN's pretty garbage, but hey, it's a backup internet. And then there's a few more things down there. But yeah, basically, I'll be providing a few B-roll shots at the moment of around the desk area. But yeah, not super neat and tidy, but you know, unless you get down here and have a look, it doesn't matter. But the floor is all nice and neat and tidy, so I can vacuum and clean up and all that really nice and easily. So yeah, it works really well. Oh, something else I love about this desk is the bench tops here, where I can come in with a package and just dump it there and have a look through it. It's a good height for me, so that's nice. This package here I've had for many months. Not that I had to do anything with it on the channel. This came from Steve from Gamers Nexus, so big thanks to him. He just said, here's some things for you and Tim. You don't have to promote it on the channel or anything, just some personal gifts for you guys. So Steve's very nice like that. I have, you might have seen it when I was talking before, but I have the original GN mod mat, and I have abused it. Not deliberately, but it's done a heap of work, and it's still in pretty good nick. It's done a great job. I absolutely love that thing, but as many of you guys will be aware, they have a new GN mod mat. You can get these off. And they're a bit smaller. And Steve sent over one for Tim and one for me. How good does that look? So I'm going to fold that out, let it flatten out. I think we'll put that over on the desk. So there's the, here's the old one. Don't look too closely at that. I've treated it like it's one of my own. It's done a lot of hard work. But anyway, we'll roll that one out and get it all nice and flat. I won't undo the other one because that is for young Tim's. This is Tim's one. But he's put some other knick-knacks in here. He's very generous. So what else have we got in here? Oh, the GN tool. Wow, that's awesome. The GN toolkit. Very cool. So I'll be putting that to use. What else have we got in here? Oh, beauty. So this looks like a mod mat to replace my more tired one. I might put this on our building set that I'm going to be building soonish. Hopefully I'll have that ready in a few weeks. But this could, where Tim and I are going to build computers on live streams, I think that's where this is destined to end up. So this is the same, yeah, it's a modified version. It's an updated version, I believe, of the original mod mat. But same dimensions, not quite as thick, which is, oh no, it's just, no, take it back, it's very much the same dimensions. So anyway, that is very, very cool. And of course there's one of those for Tim as well. So you'll probably see that end up in his set. So there's Tim's one, and Tim's toolkit. And what else have we got? What else did Steve send over? Oh, it's the, that is so cool. Oh man, I'm going to show you guys these. I mean, you will have seen them from the Gamers Nexus channel, but it's the sort of rubberized bar mat. I can't get it out for some reason. It's stuck there. Oh, it's just stuck on the back. It's very rubbery. So let's put that down. move the memory tray out of the way. Oh, that's so cool. Gee, it really does stick into place well. That might have to stay there. I think that's a good spot for it. Gee, I don't know if I'm keen to give Tim his. I might, 2 of those would be nice. But anyway, that is very, very cool. Love that. So that is everything Gamers Nexus sent over, which was admittedly a lot of stuff. And I'll probably give Tim his, and I'll have a think about that. But anyway, a little bit of an unboxing for you. As I was spreading out the GN mats, I thought I really should probably explain a bit more about the desk design, why there's this, as many of you referred to it as the receptionist desk because of this second shelf here. Admittedly, it does look a little bit like one, but not quite. Maybe they vary in design. Anyway, there is a reason for why I've done it this way. Part of it was the cable management. Well, a big part of it really was the cable management, but it's also how I use it. And again, if you guys were building this yourselves, if you were going for a similar sort of design, a few of you said you want to copy this design, which is perfectly fine. Go for it. Very nice if you want to. You would probably look at wall mounting monitors, especially if you have a wall right behind you. But even over here where there isn't a wall, I was very tempted to get the welder out, make some custom monitor stands, maybe even run a rail the whole way around so you can clip monitors on here and there and customize it or make it a bit more customizable. But ultimately for me, having the ability to have a shelf the whole way around where I can just sit cases and monitors at random is just the best way to go for me. So like I said, if I want to do dual monitor testing, I want to get 2 of these monitors, I can stick 2 monitors there, put the case here, do all my testing. Very flexible, which is the name of the game here. But at the moment, if I have a system all set up and perhaps I'm not taking things in and out of it, I'm doing some long-term testing on that particular configuration, I may move the computer up here like I have in this example and use this space for maybe tearing down graphics cards or whatever it is I may be doing. But I can also take the case down. So for example, like the Far Cry 6 benchmark that I recently did, I tested, I think it was 32 graphics cards in total. It was a lot of graphics cards. And when I'm doing that kind of testing, I would be more inclined to have the system laying on its side down here rather than up there. And maybe up here, I would stack the next 5 or 6 graphics cards. So I've got them ready to go one after the other, bit of a rapid fire graphics card setup. And really all I have to do then is pop the display cable out in this instance, pop the PCI Express power cable out. I removed the retention clip because they just slow me down. And then I just pop it out like that. There is the graphics card. Put it down, grab the next one, put it in, fire it up, install the drivers, make sure it's all good to go, and start my benchmarking. So in this instance, it's sort of like a test bed. And then if I want to do some thermal testing or a graphics card review, I would stand the case up, put the door on, open the door up, put the card in, close the door. You guys get the idea. So again, it's very flexible. I can either have it laying down here or I can put it up here. And normally I would probably have all the cables, like the power cable, the display cable, the USB cables, all that stuff come like along here. I haven't exactly set all that up yet, but basically they would all be here, and then if it's up there, they just turn around here, which doesn't look particularly nice, but then if I lay it down here, they all go under there. So it's just, it allows me to move the case anywhere along here, and the cables all reach and follow. So hopefully that explains a bit about why I've gone with this design. Now, if you were to copy this design, feel free to. A few things you may want to do is make this gap here much smaller. I've gone for 100 mil. You could easily halve that and you'll still get wall plugs and things like that through there, power bricks, all that sort of stuff. Really, I don't need it to be this big, but again, it's just an ease thing. I can grab things much easier. I don't have to mess around. But if you close that gap up, you won't be able to see the back wall as much. You won't see the cables, and it will look neater and yeah, just better overall, I think. So if you tighten up those tolerances, you'll get a neater product at the end of the day. But again, for me, it's just about speed and efficiency. So that's why I've gone the way I have. Something else you would have seen in part 1 was the construction of the shelves. I'm not sure I actually finished them in part 1, but I certainly started them. But they're finished now, made out of the same hardwood as the desks. Really happy with those. I've got a lot of motherboards and graphics cards and things on them from previous tests, and some things that I've still, well actually probably a lot of it I've still got to test. But that's all there, nice and easy to access. I can basically grab a motherboard off the shelf here, come over here, open up the box, and yeah, start testing it out. So that'll be handy when I have to do all the VRM testing and things like that. They're very close by. But of course we have stuff around the corner as well. Got the new Corsair AIOs up there, the Capelix Elite or the Elite Capelix H100i, so the IQ stuff. Got a few of those for the new cases. I won't bother bringing around the new cases. They're just more 500Ds, but again, thank you Corsair for those. And yeah, that's the shelf. Got some tubs down there, sorting cables. I've got a lot more cables to sort, but I'll do that later. Okay, so we'll move out of the command center, the benchmark thing, and we'll come down the end here and I'll show you what we've got going on here, because there's still a lot of work to be done here. I recently got the rugs, which really helps with the audio quality. There's another rug to come, but basically I'll stand back here in amongst all the mess and stuff. We put some acoustic tiles on that wall there, which again really helps with audio. We've got some on the roof as well, and then the rugs. Not 100% sure what I'll do with this space. I've definitely got plenty of plans for it, just not sure which one I'll go with. So perhaps a couch somewhere around here with the TV, so that's sort of a relax area, which is always nice to have. And then over in the corner here, thinking of setting up like a permanent podcast type set, because a lot of you guys really enjoyed the conversations Tim and I had at places like Computex, where we just sit down, pick a topic and just have a really relaxed conversation about it. Sort of like the Q&As, but it's like a big discussion about some exciting thing that's going on in the industry. So yeah, maybe a regular podcast type thing. Not sure on that, can't guarantee it, but that's potentially what we'll use that corner for. Now, if we move over to, I suppose this is a bit exciting over here. This is the new set, which admittedly does look very similar to the old one, but it is a bit more flexible. It's a lot longer and bigger. But a fair bit of the content will be filmed here, not all of it. I am planning on mixing it up a lot more now that I have options available. But yeah, this is going to look a bit like the Hardware Unboxed set that you're used to seeing on my end. There'll be a big long table here, so again, Tim and I could film Q&As here when we get together in the future. But yeah, really happy with how this has come up, and won't be too long now before I'll be filming here. So that's cool. Over here, I'm not going to talk about this too much because we don't have all the pieces to this puzzle, but this is something I'm extremely excited about. You'll be seeing more of this in the future. This is going to stretch right around this area, and it's going to be a building set. So it's kind of like high-end garage storage type stuff that'll be behind me. Big kind of kitchen island type setup. That'll be a stand-at type table desk thing. And we'll build computers here. Maybe build guides, but also live stream builds. You guys seem to have really enjoyed those. So Tim and I are very keen, especially once computer parts availability and pricing improves at some point in the future. It'd be really good to start doing that kind of content again when it makes sense. So we'll have a great big table here, multiple different camera angles, and Tim and I will get together and have a bit of fun and build computers and do all that sort of stuff. So that'll happen here. Maybe PC modding, all that kind of fun stuff will happen at this set. So that's something I'm excited about, but again, don't have all the bits to make that happen just yet, but hopefully in a few weeks I can start getting that together. So that's sort of this half of the studio area. And then yeah, back over here is the desk, so you can see it from this angle. And you know, all the benchmarking and all the hard work happens here. And absolutely love it. I'm super chuffed with it. I can also film B-roll here. I'll probably have a B-roll station somewhere in the middle here as well, so you can film B-roll from all kinds of different angles. I've got a great light for that now. So yeah, that's that. Probably not much more to say in this video really. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this sort of behind the scenes look at how I'm setting things up. There's still a lot more to be done. As I said, I've only been in here for a week, and every day I'm getting more and more done. So hopefully in a few more weeks it's going to be feeling a bit like home for me. But yeah, if you enjoyed it, do give the video a like, much appreciated. If you would like to become a Hardware Unboxed community member, support the channel directly and get involved with the awesome Hardware Unboxed community, we have Floatplane and Patreon. The links for those are in the video description. You'll get more behind the scenes content like this. I did a few more updates that didn't go on the main channel regarding the studio build. You'll also get access to our awesome exclusive Discord server for Hardware Unboxed community members. Tim and myself are active there. We chat with you guys. We also do a live stream for the members at least once a month. Q&As, a lot of cool stuff. So if you're interested, check it out. But if not, perfectly fine. I would like to thank you for watching this video. I'm your host, Steve, and I'll see you again next time.